He loves us more than we love ourselves. So we can listen to him for his direction, for his guidance. I read a story that came from Broadway and 42nd Street in New York City. And people were coming out of the theaters, and they saw a man come out of a manhole who was dressed in a dinner jacket with a very formal overcoat. He turned out to be the president of the phone company in New York City. While he was at dinner and theater, he got a message that some emergency had cropped up. So he went out to check on the men in that manhole to see how they were doing. Now imagine their surprise. But he was sincerely interested in how they were doing. Why should we be not surprised that the Son of God, the Word of the Father made flesh, would leave his throne at the right hand of the Father in heaven and come down to be with us? Not just to see how things are going, but to save us, to rescue us, to forgive us, to help us to be the person that God has created us to be. We human beings have made a mess of this world. The Son of God comes down to be with us. This is my beloved Son. Listen to him. He sees the whole picture. He loves us more than anyone would be able to love. He loves us best. Sometimes what he tells us is not always to our liking, but it is always for our best. There were two men in a large cathedral that were painting the ceiling as partners. And one of the partners was looking at the work and wanted to see just how well finished it was and stepped back on the scaffolding a bit. And his partner saw that his heel was right at the edge and instantaneously knew that if he shouted to him to be careful, that might startle his partner and he might go right over. So he took some of his own paint in a contrasting color and splashed it on his partner's work, which brought his partner right over to him to yell at him. And then he explained why he did what he did. What had looked like an unwelcome intrusion on his partner's part was actually his lifeline. And so God does for us. Seeing the full picture, loving us as nobody else could, and drawing us to himself. Asking us in the scriptures today, in God's word for us today, not to listen to Jesus selectively, but with our whole being, and to take to heart the invitation of God the Father, which he extended to Peter, James, and John, and through the Holy Word extends to us. This is my beloved Son. Listen to him.